For trying to sail his ship around a treacherous cape in a storm, a captain swore an oath that he would battle the sea forever if he had to. Satan heard him and took him at his word. The captain was condemned to sail the oceans for eternity. This terrifying legend became the foundation for composer Richard Wagner, who adapted the maritime myth into a defining piece of romantic opera. In The Flying Dutchman, Wagner introduces a single angelic loophole to the captain's endless torment. Once every 7 years, the sea casts him ashore. He is given a brief window to find a woman who will swear to be faithful to him unto death. If he finds her, the curse is broken. If he fails, he returns to the waves. The narrative pits mortal frailty directly against eternal damnation, setting up a high-stakes test of absolute devotion. The clock on those 7 years runs out in a rugged, rocky bay in Norway. A mortal sea captain named Daland has been blown off course by a violent storm, forced to drop anchor just 7 miles from his home. As Daland's crew rests, a second ship silently glides into the bay and drops anchor right alongside them. It features black masts and blood-red sails. A pale man dressed in black steps ashore. He approaches Daland, explaining that he has sailed vast distances and is desperately seeking a short period of shelter. The stranger then reveals a chest overflowing with pearls and precious stones. He offers this wealth to Daland for a single night's lodging. Then he asks Daland if he has a daughter, offering to pay his entire ship's cargo in exchange for her hand in marriage. Daland is blinded by the gold. He eagerly agrees to give away his child to a complete stranger. By treating a supernatural quest for salvation as a simple commercial transaction, Daland sets a deadly trap for his own flesh and blood. Safely inland, the atmosphere is entirely different. Local girls sit together spinning yarn, cheerfully humming and singing songs about their mortal boyfriends returning from the sea. But Daland's daughter, Senta, sits apart from the group. She ignores the cheerful spinning songs, keeping her eyes locked on a dark portrait hanging on the wall, a painting of the legendary Flying Dutchman. Senta begins to sing the Dutchman's haunting ballad to the girls. She recites the exact requirements for his salvation, and then suddenly pledges out loud that she will be the woman to save him. Her mortal suitor, a huntsman named Eric, arrives in a panic. He warns Senta of a horrific dream he just had, where he watched her run to the beach, embrace a pale stranger from a dark ship, and sail away to her doom. Eric intends the dream as a dire warning. Senta takes it as an invitation. Her obsession has reached a boiling point, driving her to actively seek out the myth and pull it into reality. The door to the house opens. Daland arrives, bringing the pale stranger inside. The room falls into a profound silence. As the Dutchman and Senta lock eyes, the myth steps out of the painting. They recognize each other instantly. For the Dutchman, the endless torment pauses. Looking at Senta, he dares to hope that this woman is the angel finally sent to grant him peace. Daland tries to show off the jewels to his daughter, but Senta ignores the money. She steps forward and willingly pledges her hand to the stranger, swearing to be true to him until death. At this moment, Senta's spiritual vow of constancy overrides her father's financial arrangement. A binding, supernatural contract is sealed, pitting human will against an ancient curse. Later that night at the harbor, Daland's sailors throw a massive party on their deck. Right next to them, the Dutchman's ship sits in eerie darkness, completely silent. The local girls playfully offer food and drink to the dark vessel. In response, the spectral sailors awake. They rise up and howl a terrifying ghostly chorus, sending the mortals fleeing in terror. Amid this chaos on the docks, Eric corners Senta. Desperate, he pleads with her to abandon this madness and remember the affection she once showed him in the valley. The Dutchman steps out of the shadows and overhears Eric's plea. Traumatized by centuries of broken promises, the captain assumes Senta is already breaking her vow to him. The tragedy stems from the Dutchman's deep-seated doubt. His inability to trust human nature blinds him to Senta's actual resolve, triggering a catastrophic chain reaction. The Dutchman knows that anyone who breaks a vow to him is condemned to eternal damnation. To save Senta from sharing his fate, he decides to leave her behind. He turns to the terrified crowd, declares his true identity, and orders his dead crew to hoist the blood-red sails for his endless voyage. But Senta refuses to let the curse win. She screams over the crowd that she has always known his identity and that she intends to keep her promise. Breaking free from Eric and her father, Senta runs to the edge of the cliff. She throws herself off the rock into the violent sea below. She proves her absolute faithfulness unto death. Instantly, the eternal curse is broken. The terrifying ghost ship shatters and sinks entirely into a swirling, violent whirlpool. As the sun rises, the transfigured spirits of Senta and the Dutchman ascend together from the wreckage. The resolution of the Dutchman's journey proves that redemption cannot be bought with a chest of gold or a father's transaction. It requires the absolute, unwavering sacrifice of constancy.